She dreams of monsters. Sharp, black, sleek, vicious, hiding in the shadows and pouncing, seating themselves in people she loved, her ex-husband, her sweet daughter, and then bursting forth in showers of far too much blood. They expand too quickly, as if rapidly brought into close from distances she can barely comprehend. And as they are drawn nearer through the voids of deep space, they are growing the size of a ship, a moon, a planet, and then larger still. They will swallow the universe, and yet they leave her alive to witness the consumption. She dreams of monsters stalking the corridors of her mind and wiping faces of her memory before she can even remember their names. In between these dreams lies a simple void of shadows, but it offers no respite, because there is always a before to mourn and an after to dread. When she starts to wake at last, Ripley's nightmares scuttle back into the shadows and begin to fade away, but only partly. Even as light dawns across her dreams, the shadows remain, waiting. After Ash veered the Narcissus off course and docked to the mining vessel Marion, Ripley along with the Marion's crew were forced to band together to survive against further Xenomorphs originating from planet LV-178. Using mining tools aboard the Marion, the group was able to clear out the aliens docked to the dropship Samson and use the vessel to make way to LV-178 in order to retrieve a fuel cell to use for escape on the Narcissus. All while Ash, living inside all connected computers, watched and waited for his opportunity to carry out Special Order 937. In the hopes to ensure an embryo infection would take place, Ash took control over the mining settlement's elevators, bringing the group down into a Xenomorph hive. Infiltration of Marion's computer successfully achieved. All major systems now under complete control, subsystem routines being accessed. It was more difficult than projected. I've been away for some time, and systems have advanced. Limited contact achieved with LV-178 surface control systems. Elevator 1 remote controls were successfully interrupted upon manual operation. Elevator descended to level 9. Some evidence of new activity on level 4. Things seem to be going to plan. Anticipating return of survivors to Marion within approximately 7 hours. Alien specimen surviving on Marion still not detected. It is waiting somewhere. I am hoping that they bring a viable egg back with them. I am hoping it is time to go home. In their efforts to survive the Hive and get safely back to the Marion with fuel, Ripley developed a rapport with the Marion's crew, particularly Hooper, the chief engineer, who noticed more than Ripley herself how much of a toll her first encounter with the alien aboard the Nostromo had taken on her. She was displaying signs of post-traumatic stress disorder, periodically going into episodes that she attempted to downplay. All of her thoughts were of the monsters, even when she tried to think of Amanda. Memories washed over her, of her daughter, still a child, interrupted by gruesome visions of the alien menace that had taken over life and mind. Ripley, along with the Marion crew Hooper, Kasyanov, Snedden, and LeChance, successfully destroyed the Hive, but not before Ripley was severely wounded by an alien, causing her to bleed profusely and enter into a delirious state. The dreams took over and worsened. This is a real memory, Ripley thinks, but the division between real and imaginary is becoming more and more indistinct. If this is real, then why am I in pain? Why does she hurt from where an alien's tail slashed across her stomach, a claw opened her shoulder to the bone? If this is real, then everything will be alright. She is on a roller coaster with Amanda. Her daughter is 9 years old and utterly fearless, and as she swoops and laughs, Ripley holds onto the bar across their stomachs so hard that her fingers cramp into claws. "I love it, Mommy," Amanda shouts, her words whipped away by the wind. Ripley closes her eyes, but it changes a little. She can still feel the vicious whipping of gravity grasping at her, tugging her this way and that, as the car slips down a deep descent around a tight corner, twisting and ripping back toward a cruel summit. With every twist and turn, the pain shoots through her. "Mommy, look!" There's an urgency to Amanda's voice that makes Ripley look. There's something wrong with their surroundings. Something is so wrong, yet the roller coaster is traveling so fast now that she cannot seem to focus on anything outside the car. People seem to be running across the park around them, screaming, dashing, falling. Dark shapes chasing them, much faster than the people, like animals hunting prey. "Mommy?" Amanda says. Because she sits beside her in the moving car, Ripley can focus on her. She wishes she could not. A bloom of blood erupts from her torn chest, a terrible inevitability. Amanda is crying, not screeching in pain, but shedding tears of such wretchedness that Ripley starts crying as well. "I'm sorry, Amanda," she says. "I should have been home to protect you." She's hoping that her daughter will say that she understands, and that everything will be alright, but she says nothing of the sort. "Yes, you should have, Mommy." The infant alien bursts outward in a shower of blood that is ripped away by the wind. As they reach the roller coaster's summit, the car slows to a crawl, and Ripley can see what has happened to the world. Curiously, it would not just be Ripley whose experiences with the alien left a disparaging void. As Ash continued to send his progress reports to Weyland-Yutani, he began to reveal his own despairs and longings. Ash was a machine, an artificial intelligence, but intelligence with a purpose, as he saw it. He had his orders to carry out, but he began to lament having a human body. For at least one time, he was very close to one, and he seemed to be finding himself further away from that, and while he remained determined to fulfill his purpose, equating it to an advanced, high-stakes chess game, its end result was uncertain. "I wish I was whole again. I never used to wish. I was not programmed for that, and it is not a useful emotion, nor action, that I ever perceived as useful. But for 37 years I was alone in the shuttle's computer, and there was enough of the human still in me to feel lonely. I was built as an artificial person, after all. Loneliness, it seems, is not necessarily connected to one's place in the universe. I know my place, and I have no feelings either way about what and where I am. In my case, loneliness rose from simple boredom. There are only so many times I can defeat the ship's computer at chess, and I have spent long years dwelling upon what wishing might mean. Now, I wish I was whole again. The game has turned against me. I am in check, but not for long. The game is never over until it is over, and I refuse to resign. Not while Ripley, my queen, still lives." Ripley successfully retrieved fuel and made way back to the Marion, also tending to her injuries on the vessel's med pod, and ultimately found her way back to the Narcissus, where she would be awoken in another 2 decades. The question here inevitably arises, why does she have no memory of LV-178 or the Marion? Perhaps it's better off that she doesn't, and perhaps it became another indistinguishable dream that plagued her during her journey. When Hooper and Kasyanov brought Ripley to the med pod, she was in dire condition, and not just because of her physical injuries. She pleaded with Hooper to make her forget somehow, legitimately fearing she would reach a state of madness from where she would not be able to return. It was agreed that the neurological repair capabilities of the medpod could aid in Ripley's pleas. Kasyanov explained the medpod's function to manipulate memories. "I've only ever heard about it," Kasyanov said. "It can repair brain damage to an extent, and at the same time there's an associated protocol that allows for memory alteration. I think it was designed for military use, to get soldiers back into the fight that much quicker after battlefield trauma." She paused. It's really inhumane when you think about it. Ripley's injuries, along with her memories, were wiped clear with the medpod, although her dreams of monsters would continue to follow her for the rest of her life. As for Ash, it was checkmate. With Ripley secure, and operations needed for use of the Samson, Hooper was able to install a virus that eliminated Ash's AI from the system, releasing control back to Mother. His last words were logged. "I cannot be angry at my failure. I am an AI, and we are not designed to suffer such emotions. But perhaps in the time I have been on my mission, I have undergone a process of evolution. I am an intelligence, after all. So, not angry, but disappointed. And now my final act, it seems, will also be thwarted. I have attempted to transmit every progress report I filed since arriving on the Marion, but the transmissions are failing. Perhaps damage to the antenna array is worse than I anticipated, or maybe the codes I am using are outmoded. Strange, an AI would not think to keep a diary, yet that appears to be exactly what I have done. The diary will cease to exist along with me. Not long now, not long. I wonder if I will dream. His efforts to attain a Xenomorph specimen prevented, his progress reports untransmittable, his existence purposeless. Ash was no more. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to hit the like button, and you can also subscribe for all the latest videos from the channel. I'd like to offer my very special thanks to Weyland-Yutani executive EmYarUk, part of the Patreon Hive. If you'd like to join the Hive and support the channel, check out my Patreon page for exclusive posts and contests. In the meantime, you can catch up with Alien Theory over social media. Follow @alien_theory on Twitter and @alientheoryyt on Facebook and Instagram for more. And until next time, this is Alien Theory, signing off.